and we'll get an error because we've already got a match which was defined in the database already. So it's saying missing partial modifier on declaration of type match. Another partial declaration of this type exists. Basically saying we've already got a class called match. So we need to extend this existing one and just make this a partial class. This is just like an extension of the existing class. And what we want to do is we just want to add another property to our match. So we can't actually edit the database to put the team name in, but what we can is we can add new properties so that when we're actually going through, we could say m dot home team name instead of home team ID. But we need to actually set up what happens when home team name is specified. So we need to set that up now. So it's going to be a property. It's going to be public string. It's going to be a string property, home team name, and then we need to set up a get accessor, and what this needs to do is this needs to talk to the teams repository. So I'm going to put this into the class as well, the reference to the teams repository. So teams repository teams rep equals new teams repository, and all this property needs to do, it's not going to be writable, so you can actually have two things. You can say set as well if you wanted to write the name of it, but we don't need that. We just need to be able to get the text back. So what we need to do is we need to say return teams rep dot get all teams dot where the ID equals this dot home team ID dot first dot default dot team name. Right, let's run through this. So when we are talking about a match, so if you think about here, we're going through all of the different matches in the database, and we're running through them all here in this loop. So each time we access it, it's actually creating an object, and now that we've extended that object, we now have access to this home team name. So when I'm going through here, I'm actually saying, right, I'm going to return the result of this query here, and this query says, right, get all the teams where the ID is the same as this match home team ID, get the first result, and get the team name, and return that back into that property. So now I should be able to say, go into my thing and say, right, m dot home team name, and if I run this, every time it comes across that property, it's going to execute this query on this property. It's going to execute this query. It's going to hit the database. It already knows what the ID is, but it's going to pass that in as part of into that property as part of this query, and then it's just going to send the team name back instead. So I should just be able to refresh this page, and that home team should now say Tottenham. Now this is a little bit more advanced than I'd really want it to go, but it shows you how to extend a class exactly as we need it. So that should say Tottenham now when it finally kicks in. So we've got the actual team name. We can just create another oops, just restarted everything there. We can create another property by copy and pasting away team name, away team ID, and again it's just asking for all the teams back, but only where the ID matches the away team ID, and then returning that team's name. And if I go back now and say, right, I want the home team name, so we've got the away team name, we've got that extra property there. And although these properties don't exist in the actual match themselves, they do exist in the code, and it knows what we're talking about, so that if I refresh the page, it will say Tottenham versus Newcastle United. So you can see we're actually building and building and building. And the good thing is about that is it's totally reusable throughout the application. So when we get when we get to the point where we're doing the front end stuff and we're displaying the match reports, although we're actually pulling a match through, we'll be pulling the match report with a match, and we won't actually know which teams they are in terms of their names, but we will know their IDs. We can just still reuse that in exactly the same way. That property there is now available throughout the whole entire application. Wherever we're trying to talk about a match, we can now get the home team name and the away team name without having to do any extra work. So that's where we are at the moment. We've learned how to create a new match. We've learned how to create new teams. If I just add another match here between Leicester and Man United, let's just say they won 2-0 because no one likes Man United, and they played on the 16th, September 2016. Let's just create that. You can see that one was played earlier. This one's still at the top because it's the most recent one. If I was to create one that was, in fact, what's today's date? The 19th. So let's just pretend that Sunderland got beat off Stoke for 1, 2, 3, 4. They got beat 8-4 today. This one should go at the top because it's the most recent one. So you can see we're actually displaying all the information about all those matches. And what we'll do in the next video is go through how we actually create a report which is tied to these individual matches. And then once we've done that, we will be on to working on the front end of the website. So it's starting to take shape. You're learning how to create. The teams. You've learned how to create matches. We're now going to do match reports, and then we're well on our way to start creating a nice little website for all of our stuff. And in further videos we'll start creating the league tables, which will be calculated based on the results of these matches. So stay tuned if you like this content. I'm sorry a little bit of it is long-winded sometimes, but it is quite a tough subject to teach, and I'm sure it's tough to learn. But hopefully you're following along. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you are, give it a thumbs up. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be great, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. See you soon. Bye.